Score one for the GPP bros last night. What if I came on here yesterday and told you Cade Otton, Raheed Shaheed, and Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill? Those are the three pieces you need last night? Not Alvin Kamara, not Chris Olave, not Mike Evans? Oh, man, what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful day for Team Scroll the F Down. You love to see it. Now, hopefully it translates into a little something, some positive returns going forward. But good fun one there. But right off the top, shout out to Underdog because they did something very smart last night. The Battle Royales were the wild, wild west with no ADP on Monday night. And admittedly, from like a game theory standpoint, it was amazing for us sickos. But from the overall integrity of the contest, it was a bad thing. And the fact that they launched a cash game style contest slightly before the BR dropped and allowed that to set ADP, big shouts to them. Smart fucking idea from a company angle. Smart idea from the company side. I really respect that decision they made there. And I think it's so good for the integrity of this contest. Does it sour us as players a little bit from making like super teams? Absolutely. But I'm feeling it. That's a really good decision for these contests going forward. At least I think so. But let's see what the boys think. We got Mark here with us, and the usual suspects are back. What's going on, gentlemen?
What up? Trying to follow along with the Spain game, my people, dude. You gotta support them.
Who are they playing? Is that Morocco?
Morocco, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, John. Off the top, I agree with your thoughts. That's cool that they use training camp to set the ADP before we start drafting for 25K. I think that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that was a really sharp idea.
I noticed that last night when I was literally refreshing for the drafting at dusk, and all of a sudden I see a training camp at like 4:20, and I'm like, oh, that's a little early, and I didn't check to see ADPs or anything like for the first draft or anything like that. But yeah, all of a sudden I see a training camp. I'm like, well, let's be on the lookout for BR. And then you came on and we looked, and all of a sudden there's already ADP. It's like, yeah. So that was a fun surprise.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but my Sunday night drafts or my Monday night drafts from last week, they were all terrible. None of them cashed. So it's probably for us.
Yes and no, because All's was a Monday night draft that shipped the thing.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, it was Monday night. I think he said it was his 8th, 10th, 14th, something like that. One of those three numbers stuck out in my mind.
Can I vent real quick?
For some reason, I think it was a 12th.
Yeah.
So the following along at the end of the game yesterday, I typically only put in like 10, 15 entries into the big DK contest for Showdown, which like makes it so when I have a sweat, it's like additionally exciting because it doesn't happen as often. Yesterday, the Chris Godwin touchdown that got called back late, that was my shipper, dude. And then it got called back for holding. I was like, are you serious? I had all the right pieces. I had like Chris Godwin at captain. I had Tom Brady. I had Rashid Shaheed. I had Taysom Hill were the only two New Orleans pieces. And I was like, this.
And Cade Otton at 1,800.
Leonard. Yeah. Cade Otton, dude, is like, this is my time. And then it gets called back. I was like, I literally went from like rubbing my wife's my wife is pregnant like 32 weeks. So I went from like rubbing my wife's like back on the couch to like
dude doesn't shoot blanks.
Yeah. So, like I was like jumping around the living room and then it gets called back and I was just like, oh, this is it, man.
Oh man. Mark, that's kid number 5, right?
True. Yeah, true story. Kid 5, dude.
That's wild. Mark and I are the same age.
Hats off to y'all.
Yeah, Mark and I are the same age. This guy's got 5 kids. Oh my god, I can't even fathom the grown up nature of that.
I got married. We got married when we were 22. Had our first kid at 25, and then it's been like the first 3 were 22 months apart. It was like bam, 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 and then took a little break for the cross country move, and now we're back at it. Let's go.
That's awesome.
I love it.
I'm kind of jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
So good.
Yeah, this is probably it. So this is the last one.
I'm not gonna get Mark and your wife's name plus 8. I'm not gonna get a new reality show.
That ain't
1 week season reality show.
Yeah,
all my kids to grind DFS.
Yeah. If I had what would it be? I don't even know how many lineups. You're sitting there with screw 150 lineups. You're milking it with 1,000.
Kids, hurry up and turn 18. I need you, bro.
Oh, that's
Oh,
so good.
gosh.
Can you imagine sitting at the kitchen table, your kids making some lineups? It's
Yeah.
don't do me, bro. Come on.
All right.
Like,
Screw the homework. Did everyone make their spreadsheets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Oh.
Yo, this slate this week, guys. I know some of us jumped in. I think we got damn near 50 draft boards shared in the thread in the Discord.
Wow.
Man, invaluable information already. Trends and stuff we're noticing, spots and stuff you're liking, game environments, teams you've built. What's going on? Give me a little something.
Running
I
back
think-
is a shit show.
Yeah. Running back is really, really bad. That's like my biggest takeaway right now is that running back is bad and Joe Mixon is undervalued. That's really all I came away with. I mean, we always go on here and we talk about every week Cleveland defense is terrible, or run defense is terrible. Cleveland run defense is terrible. And now we're in a beautiful position where Joe Mixon is coming off an injury, which is concussion. So like it really shouldn't affect his play very much if
His
he
ability,
actually Exactly. So this is great. Like that's like the one leverage piece that I've seen so far. I actually haven't drafted a ton of these. I actually only did 2 in the BR so far, but both have Mixon.
Yep. I like that. Mixon was free to start the drafts. He's moved up a little bit. I think he's got about a 28 ADP right now. We've seen what Samaje Perine's done the last 2 weeks without him. Just imagine him with that usage. I mean, there is some football guy take in the back of my mind that's like, is Samaje Perine better than Joe Mixon? Like, come
The
on,
answer
like,
is yes.
yeah, right. Like, it looks like Mixon looks like he's running in cement, and then Samaje comes out and does
Nez
this
is
in that
cinder
offense
blocks.
with that role.
He's got
Yeah,
cinder blocks on his feet.
Oh, yeah.
One thing
Yeah,
I just
man.
want to say, Robert, you would be able, if you just hit that nice like, subscribe, notification bell, let you know when we go
You would
live.
never miss it.
You
would
never miss
never
it?
miss it.
Also, just want to pump that we also have all of our streams. They notify you in the Discord. So join that Badge Bros Discord channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. Link
There you
in
go.
the bio. If you need that, we could put another one in there. Just getting the housework, just early, getting it done early. So now we can
Look at
continue
this
with the fun.
guy.
All right.
Yo, Nate,
I
what's
don't
up,
think
bud?
I don't think you can talk about the slate without first like mentioning that the Lions are home favorites over the Vikings with a 27.5 team total.
Wild, just wild,
insane.
man. Like that, and that's what we were talking about. That Coors Field that everyone keeps calling, or ETR keeps calling it.
Yeah.
Where it's just like Lions at home with tempo. Are they actually good? Like the defense all of a sudden looks a bit better too.
They've
It's
won
crazy, man.
bunch
They've
of
won 4 of
games,
the last
man.
5, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, from like a real
They're
football
like-
guy's standpoint.
They've played their way back
We-
into the playoff picture in the NFC.
Well,
somehow.
if we beat them this week, we clinch the North. Yes, we.
Stop it.
Nami's
no,
on the
it-
53, man. I don't know if you knew this.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of 53, that's what I'm seeing from the total side. 53.5, and no other game remotely close.
Look at
And
that
the field-
transition,
the
man. You
field
gotta pay
knows it,
big
too.
bucks for that.
John,
Yeah,
John's a
and-
natural, man.
Old John
And
boy.
the field does know it. The field knows it because we're getting Justin Jefferson 101 and we're getting Amon-Ra 2. Yesterday, I kind of touted a little bit on our stream there. The first minute ADP dropped. I was like, man, go out there and get those Josh Allen stacks, those Mahomes stacks, and those Jalen Hurts because they're not going to be around long. Boy, was I wrong. Those are readily available.
Yes, sir.
Readily available right now in almost all of drafts. And the big thing that would have been to get would have been the Jefferson Amon-Ra. I mean, if somebody has that, like you're sitting on, less than 0.001% owned in this contest. And effectively, the nuts that people are going to try and get to spend up wide receiver in DFS on this week. So,
Dude is
Amon-Ra is still too cheap on DK. Sorry, I just need to say it. I don't know
What
what
is
they're
he,
waiting
sorry?
on. 70,
75?
Like he's under 8K. Like he needs
Yeah.
to be, and he needs to be like 8.3, and that would still probably
seven.
be a
He's
little cheap.
7.8 this week, and Jefferson is 9 on DK. Yeah, so the fact that he's still under 8K, that's a great shout.
also,
it's
dude. What about
ridiculous.
them Tua doubles against the Chargers, man? 27.5 team total.
That got flexed.
Oh, that's right.
That's-
that got fixed.
that's-
Sunday night.
That's the Sunday night game now.
That's
So
right.
They rugged
in-
us.
Yeah, in general, that would have been the
So now we
game
get
that we would have
Chiefs.
been.
Yeah.
jumping on or whatever,
True,
because
true.
that's the only other nasty looking game on the slate. But outside of that, I mean, every other game, 47.5 is the second highest total that I'm seeing. And it's in that Browns Bengals game. And I have no idea what to make of the Browns after last week, like with Deshaun Watson, right? Like, I don't know. They had the second highest team total on the slate last week, and it was
Yeah.
just easy pickings to be away from that.
I had Watson doubles on my single entry build for DFS. That was great.
I mean, that's what the optimals had. That's what the optimals had on the solver. That's what, you know, DPJ plus Harrison Bryant plus Deshaun were like a lot of optimals popping that way, and it allowed you to get a lot of other stuff. Yours truly, obviously smarter than that, played Geno doubles. So shout out to me, obviously. The
humblest host in the world.
Just
this is a safe for work stream, John. So if you want to stop, just
yeah. Oh, you love it. Okay. Anyways, the being in the drafts last night, I guess Numi, outside of these two, you probably did the most last night. What did you notice trend wise? Players you liked, ADPs that were falling that interest you? You only did one? Okay.
After that stream, I was just kaput. I ate some food. I watched a couple shows with the gal. I got in a draft. I forget what it even was, but yeah, I have the lack of the ADPs being there. I was like, you know what? There's going to be some movement, but I don't think I'm going to miss that much between tonight or last night and this morning when I'm going to draft. So. But yeah, I haven't really done much, but I mean, just looking at it, yeah, you see JJ is 101.
Finally.
It's weird, but I know people are saying JJ over Kelsey, but it's just like, well, I mean, when Kelsey puts up the 20-point game, 25-point game, and here that's the tight end you need, like, I mean, I don't know. It's still pretty close to me. Shockingly, I know. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I would do a little pushback and say I still think Kelsey might be the 101.
I'm with you.
Maybe that's weird, but I don't know. I mean, JJ's going to clear 102 in the best wideout, but just the value of a placement for these for that tight end, it's just Kelsey's. I love it. So that's just what I've known this early. I don't know. You've done the most drafts, so what have you picked up on?
I've picked up on the big thing is that the stacks are way more readily attainable than I thought they would have been. You can get this at the 5-6 turn, Ian Hurts Brown, like a decent amount. You can do the same if Diggs falls with the Diggs Allen one. And then if you take Kelsey, a lot of people are fading this naked Mahomes because I do think there is a talent, like a clear talent drop off or distinct perceived drop off in these. I think there is this, if we go position by position here, I do think there is this like Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Diggs, Chase, Brown, CD, and then kind of like a line in the sand is there with all top 10 ADPs. And then kind of like what comes after that is, you know, obviously all going to be within play and all going to be drafted a ton, but it's a little more murky than like these are these clear cut top 8 on the slate for me. And then running back for me, there's two guys. Like it's like give me CMC and give me, and I'm not even like jumping up and down for the CMC thing with backup quarterback with Vita Vea back for Tampa Bay, all these sort of things. They'll probably have Antoine Winfield and Sean Murphy-Bunting back next week as well. So this could be setting up for a really ugly 49ers matchup and like a grudge match in the same fashion that we saw last night between the Saints and the Bucks. So I'm not jumping up and down at the Christian McCaffrey, but I do think it's kind of like Derrick Henry and then the rest. There's obviously some interesting names there, but yeah, this is one that I was picking up on. I was eating that Saquon fall. I think people are really scared of that Philly run defense, and for good reason. And we've talked up, you know, how Saquon's role isn't what Saquon's perceived value actually is right now. Those were my initial thoughts. Quarterback looks deeper than usual. Tight end actually looks deeper than usual, in my opinion, because I really like Schultz this week, and I really like Mark Andrews at a cheap price point. We talked about it last night a little bit, how Mark Andrews, the thing that really unlocked Mark Andrews last year was Huntley.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like you know, everyone's like, oh no, you know, Lamar goes down. Like I did this last night, so sorry for being redundant for those who have watched both, but I do think it is a pivotal talking point on the slate. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for Baltimore. I'm looking for Baltimore 2001. I
Boom.
am looking for Mark Andrews. So Tyler Huntley played week 11 and then he played 14 onward. Week 11, Mark Andrews 873, then 14 onward. 11, 115, 1, 10, 136 and 2, 8, 125 and 1, 6, 89, 8, 85. Like if we're talking DK full point PPR, that's a 20-point floor every time Huntley was in there with Mark Andrews. So I'm buying into the FUD around Mark Andrews, and when he falls, I am snatching him in the third round every single time as of right now. Yeah, there's John Boy's rant and ramble. Tell me why I'm an idiot, or tell me if you agree with some of that stuff.
I mean, it was a different situation last season at the end of the year because the Ravens were pushing hard for a playoff spot, but they had all those injuries to the offensive line. They had all those injuries in the secondary that were driving them towards a pass-first offense. So, like, is that going to remain similar volume for the snapshot of this week? I don't know. But that said, like, I feel like the field is far too down on Mark Andrews after his kind of string of clunkers. We know his upside, his talent. He's kind of like in the same vein. Well, I guess I was going to compare him to George Kittle, but that's not really fair. Andrews does most of his damage when he gets volume and when Baltimore is projected to score points because he's the primary red zone role. Whereas Kittle, it's like we just need San Francisco to pass more because he just needs the volume. But like, yeah, so that's not really a good comparison. But yeah, I mean, like his talent is off the charts, so I'll take shots on that all day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nate brings it up in the chat. Like Andrews is better with a better quarterback. 100% agreed. Like I'm not necessarily suggesting that like Huntley like truly unlocks Mark Andrews, and this is like a thing. It's just an interesting note that the perception is that people are going to be down on Andrews when maybe they shouldn't be this far down on Andrews. Because if Lamar's playing this week, that Steelers defense looks largely improved. If Lamar's playing this week, where's Andrews going? 8, 10?
Yeah, he's probably in the back end of the segment.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he didn't really have like a great game last week, people are just really scorned by that, and now they just don't think that he warrants a premium pick. But that's like that's not true, especially on this slate. I don't think that's true. Schultz is interesting, like you pointed out, but the Cowboys are like probably going to finish like 17.5 favorites against the Texans by Sunday.
Yeah, it's wild.
And it's gonna and they don't, their pass rate over expectation isn't like sexy. So I'd really like it seems kind of thin to play Schultz there. That's just my thought. I'm into Andrews this week. He with Huntley, it seems like they don't have any other pass catchers. You know what I'm saying? It's like Deshaun Jackson is like now on the active roster. We like to kind of get bro science and talk about like what these backup quarterbacks do. You know, they hit their alphas, and now the alpha is also the tight end, which was always the safety valve. So like, I think Andrews has a really safe floor and always has like 2 touchdown upside. But like Chip said, we don't need to stack him though. Like I don't think no one has advocated that on here, but just so we're clear, I don't think Huntley is a good pick in the Battle Royale this week.
I would disagree, to be honest.
The rushing floor.
Look at the state of the slate. The highest team totals are Dallas Cowboys with a low pass rate over expectation. Dak is probably going to be in the 28 to 32 pass attempt range. Can he go for like 304 on that volume? Like, sure, but it's not a given. And then you have like Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff in the highest game total. Who's going out of their way to play those dudes? So like the reason why Huntley is viable, I would think, on this slate is he's a mobile quarterback who is probably going to be in the 10 to 12 rush attempt range, something like that. Very like Lamar Jackson. And due to the state of the slate with like no clear avenue of like ownership to flow at the quarterback position, because the game environments aren't really conducive to high scoring passing games. Like that's when mobile quarterbacks gain like increased leverage and viability. So I don't know. I would think that Huntley and Mark Andrews would be viable this week, and I've been eyeing that early week in DFS as well.
Imagine 3 months ago, 2 months ago, I told you that Tyler Huntley's price would be $100 cheaper than Tom Brady. Like, just fucking think about that for a second. Like, that's crazy. Like, I was building a cash shell this morning, and I was literally like, holy shit, Goff, Huntley, and Tom Brady are all the same price.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
what sport is this?
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm not looking to take Brady in this matchup at all. At all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting talking point, because like what we saw last night was, you know, clearly the Saints put the clamps down and that sort of thing, but it was like, oh, he still met value. Like, he still got home in the end, right? And
3
it's
minutes.
kind of like, yeah, like a 3-minute stretch of Brady, and it's like, it kind of reminds you like, oh, that's within range of outcomes too. I don't know. So it's very interesting. But
the problem with Brady in this matchup is that the 49ers are very capable of generating organic pressure. And we've seen, due to the offensive line woes in Tampa, that like Brady does not have the time. That's why like everyone's looking to like Mike Evans' like mid-season injuries as a reason why like he has underperformed over the last month. I think it's just the fact that their offensive line is so dinged up that he doesn't have the time for his routes to materialize. When they are attacking deep, it's like to Mike Evans and Julio Jones, and Brady has to let the ball go earlier than he would like, and that's where we're getting all these overthrows. So I think it's just like they are unable to run the offense they want because of the injuries and the woes of their offensive line, which does not bode well for going into San Francisco.
yeah, no, that's a really sharp point there, especially if they're out without Tristan Wirfs still, right? Because he missed last night.
Yeah, they're in huge trouble. They're in huge trouble.
Yeah,
they look so uninspiring. Like, I really thought that like maybe after the bye we would see a rejuvenated Bucks, but like Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Their pass rate expectation has come down a little bit. So yeah, I don't know.
Dude, the fact that they won that game last night, like I was not watching, and then I just keep like I have like that ESPN, so I'm looking. I'm like, okay, it's 16-3. I'm like, okay, and all of a sudden I see they score, and then I'm like, they don't stop them here, right? And then I turn on the game, watch them stop them, and I'm just like, this is
win percentage models had like the Saints at like 99.3% or something. Like, literally could not have been closer to 100%.
Yeah, Andy Dalton looked like he wanted to cry.
Dude, Jamel Dean saved their season dislodging that ball on 3rd and 17 from Taysom. That hit, dude, that was a perfectly thrown ball. Like, Andy Dalton has never thrown a better ball. And then Jamel comes flying and just lays the
hot take. Dalton looked good last night.
He was putting some balls in some really good spots.
This Leone,
like, his wide receivers didn't do him any favors. Yeah, but this Leone tweet was so good. The sequence where Ingram went out of bounds at the 1, he kind of pulled up like he was injured. It was a very strange situation because
he went out of the
whatever
game.
Reason. He went out of the game. He was in the medical tent. He comes back, and then they utilize him in a pass catching role for whatever reason. I couldn't get over the fact that all those targets that Mark Ingram was getting last night, like, weren't going to Alvin Kamara. It just made no fucking sense to me. I don't know what's going on there. They just don't trust Kamara. Like, Kamara, like, from a season long perspective, like, I don't even know if he's flex worthy in certain matchups anymore. It's crazy. But anyways, that sequence where Ingram goes out of bounds 1 yard short when he could have easily picked up the first down. Oh, sorry, I'm
Make
not
it
zoomed
bigger.
in.
There you go.
Yeah. That sequence where Ingram went out of bounds 1 yard short when no one was near him, followed by a 3rd and 1 incomplete pass, followed by the decision to punt in opponent territories on 4th and 1, turned out exactly how you thought it would. And it was so perfect because it's like, man, the analytic bros have said forever, like, yeah, just don't do these things. And then they did all these things in succession, and then it kicked him in the dick. It was pretty funny to watch. Like, so just a perfectly phrased tweet.
Yeah.
Yes,
cannot
bury
believe they
me
threw
for
the ball.
light mode. I don't have light mode on the phone. I don't have light mode on the
Dude,
whatever. I got light mode on the
I
computer
use
right
light
now.
mode on so many things. It's not even that big of a deal. It's just an easy thing for people to comment.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but just looking at the slate here, like I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what games to target. I don't know. My eyes.
But we got Mark
gravitate-
here.
Yeah, my eyes have been gravitating to this Vikings Lions game, but it's really hard to get different in it. There might be some leverage in the capacity that we didn't see last week, where we were hyping Swift last week and kind of like, hey, let's flip that narrative. We've seen it now. He's not on the practice report, and now all of a sudden, maybe there's a little leverage in flipping it back and drafting the highest touchdown scoring player in football. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Swift's going well ahead of Jamal, and I've yet to see Jamal drafted. So it becomes very interesting, like from like a game theory standpoint of where the leverage in these slates like changes week to week, and it has nothing to do with player takes, right? Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to find leverage yet. Are there any spots you guys can pick out?
Well,
Immediately off the 101, you have Adam Thielen and TJ Hawkinson. I know Hawk is going drafted, but you have Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, who's 14. So just other ways to basically get the points in that game. Trust me, I know Thielen's track record, but I think Hawkinson throws a little wrench in it, in the fact that now he's basically competing with, he's now the Thielen red zone talk. It can be talked down because of Hawkinson. They use him a lot more there, but I still think enough like fun leverage in a shootout game environment could be Thielen. So especially just strictly leverage off of the 101.
Right.
You got a dog there, Nez?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my buddy Max over here.
You're good. Yeah.
I like that leverage call. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Deontay Foreman is probably going near undrafted. The Panthers.
He does not have an ADP.
Yeah, the Panthers surprisingly have a Vegas applied team total, almost 3 touchdowns. So that's kind of right in the range where, in order for your player to have a chance at like scoring twice on their own, you typically want the team total to be 21 and above. So it's right at that range. I think he's interesting as a running back that can put up like 102.
I like that shout. Dudes. I think T-Bear brought that one up in the chat as well.
I would love some bullish Ken Walker news so I can just go right back in. Just give it another shot.
I've drafted him.
We need that for our big dog team, Nez.
I know we do, man. He owes me one big time.
Yeah.
What do we think about Tony Pollard this week? Tony Pollard's ADP started really, really high, and he actually went ahead of Derrick Henry in a couple of drafts that I did, and was literally the 101, or not 101, but 101 running back taken off the board. Highest team total on the slate. They love to run the football. They're going to utilize both of them. Is there merit to Tony Pollard being a first or second round pick? Is there merit to pairing Tony Pollard with Zeke? Is there leverage in taking just Zeke late? What do you think, Mark?
I think at that ADP, you're threading a fairly fine needle because Tony Pollard is a player with Zeke healthy that is highly unlikely to see like more than 16 to 18 running back opportunities, somewhere in that range. That said, like he's putting up like 8 yards per carry on the reg, so he could get there on that volume. I'd also expect the pass volume for Pollard specifically to probably dip into like 1 to 3 target range in this game environment. So you're basically looking at a yardage and touchdown back with 16 to 18 expected running back opportunities. It's going to be like, can he score 3 touchdowns? Like he did that already this season when he was chalk. He like 15 running back opportunities, scored 3 times, and like was optimal. But like it's a
Without Zeke.
that was without Zeke. I mean, Zeke's going to be involved. Zeke's going to have a red zone role. He's going to have the short yardage role. So I don't know.
Did you guys watch Sunday night? Sorry to cut you off. I thought this was really relevant though. On Sunday night, they get down to the goal line, and Nez had said it a couple times on the show that like being in and around that like Dallas area, people love Zeke. Like our whole little bubble and community, we're like, fuck this guy is overpaid, and they're just screaming Zeke. They're up by 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns or whatever, and they're at the goal line, and the crowd's screaming Zeke. I was like, dude, holy shit, they love this dude. Like, what?
The only guy they love more than Zeke is the guy, I forget his name. Damn it, the backup quarterback.
Cooper Rush.
They love Cooper Rush. They love Cooper Rush. Make of that what you will. But they love Zeke. Like Bria's dad, my father-in-law.
That video,
loves Zeke. Run the ball. Like he's all like they want to run the ball with Zeke. They still think Zeke's got it. My father, a little bit more he's way more into with fantasy, but his take is that he thinks that Zeke is looking fresh, and I got to agree with him. I think Zeke
he's looked better than he has. Yeah,
he has, man. I think that Tony, like the spelling of him with Tony Pollard and the sharing of the work, I think is just working like beautifully for them. So I think that you could definitely play better, Zeke. Yeah. No, I really do think so too. Could be some offensive scheme, could be health, probably. Most likely a bit of both, but I think Zeke is certainly in play. I would probably rank them side by side. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
Him and Pollard.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
The problem is Pollard gives you access to upside based on efficiency, whereas Zeke is like, he's very rarely his breakaway run rate is like so low this year. He just does not have the same burst that he used to.
We need 2 touchdowns from Zeke. Like that's a tough bet.
Yeah. Because dude, I can't. The last time Zeke went over 100 yards was in like 2019. Something like that.
Wow.
And that'll probably be the last.
That's wild.
No, what's up with this Texans defense playing tough? Like why, like they haven't really allowed too many like monster games against them these last 2 weeks. This is probably, I'm not betting on them, stopping the Cowboys by any means, but it's just like, we think we see the spot and like it hasn't come to fruition, but I think this is going to be a different story. I really like the way Dallas has looked. But defensively though, like I guess you could see them like scoring touchdowns on turnovers, you know what I'm saying? I think they're going to wreak absolute havoc on Kyle Allen.
That's interesting. Houston's given up 4.9 yards per carry on the season. Their last 3, they've only ceded 3.8. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why that is. I'm gonna have to dig it.
They're like, God damn it! Everybody's trying to run on us because we suck so bad. Let's just
maybe missed tackles are just variance.
Ooh, they heard that Mark Garcia slander and they said, you know what? We are not that bad. We are.
Yeah, we're gonna tackle. yeah.
That
actually, Mark did say that their defense wasn't as bad when, like, early in the season. Mark, you did say that defense wasn't as bad as we would have been led to believe because of the missed tackles. Like, it was just inefficiency in tackling. Maybe the efficiency in tackling has caught up. I don't know. Maybe that is a variance-laden stat. One thing I just want to address here, because Chip said it in the chat there, that Tony Pollard's touches in the last 3 games with Zeke. Tony Pollard has out-touched Zeke in 2 of the last 3 games since Zeke has been back. He had the 21 here. He then had the 20 to Zeke's 16 and Zeke's 17. And then in the 50-burger game there, I imagine they kind of just shut Tony Pollard down in the latter half of that game and those last 2 drives. Even before Malik Davis came in, the last 2 drives were Zeke drives, and then Zeke gets with the 20-14 then, but Tony Pollard gets the 2 touchdowns. I do think we've seen the flippening in the value of the players in this backfield, and I do think it's safe to just be like, yeah, I do feel more comfortable taking Tony Pollard. But that being said, we have to, I would have likened this backfield, and this might be kind of like a spicy take. I would have likened this backfield to like 2018, 2019 New Orleans, where it was you're muted, Nez.
My fault. Yeah, no, I knew that's where you were going with that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, this Thunder and Lightning combo of like early downs and pass catching downs are Tony Pollard, the Alvin Kamara role. Maybe not as dominant in the pass game because they just don't target the running back all that much in the pass game. But in theoretical standpoint, that makes sense to me. And then Mark Ingram kind of like at the goal line in Zeke as the plotter, as that, hey, we can guarantee ourselves 3 yards, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
3 to 5 every carry. That's it.
Yeah.
Ingram was so good in those years, though, too. I'm just sorry. I just need to just revisionist, just thinking about how good Mark Ingram was in those Saints years. God, he was a dog.
They were both like fantasy viable every week. And remember all those stats that would come up? It would be like, Alvin Kamara was the RB2 this week. Mark Ingram was the RB5 this week. Like, you know, and like people would like tweet it out. What? On the same team? It doesn't make sense. Where are the bell cows? Like, you know, oh man. Zeke's last 100-yard game for those.
Yeah, it was week 5, last 2021.
Oh, I missed one then. I went back to 2020, week 16. So I must have missed it when I was glossing.
There were 2 last year that I missed. The week 4 and week 5.
Week 4 and week 5. There you go. There we go. Anyways, we kind of beat Dallas to death there, but just thinking through, like Dallas looks like a 50 burger spot potentially, as the kind of like break the slate team total. And I know that's not a hot take. They have the highest team total on the slate, but I think if that does come to fruition, both running backs are in play, obviously, and pairing both running backs. We saw it win in the two-game contest, but you needed both running backs. You needed Dak, you needed CD, and you needed Gallup to win that Thursday, Sunday contest. 2-gamer. I don't know if it's as viable on a main slate. I would not want to be overstacking in that capacity, but it's within range of outcomes.
CD Lamb is in a tough spot. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I think you also need to be worried about overall offensive volume from the Cowboys, particularly. I mean, we've seen them put up like historic scoring since Dak returned in week 7. But like, this is a team that like, look what Cleveland just did to Houston. Like, their opponent is going to struggle to move the football. Now, if like Dallas adds a defensive score, their offense isn't on the field as much. It's just it's not as certain of a spot as I think that the field is playing into. And then you look at like the offense of Dallas, and it is not very concentrated now with Gallup like returning to prominence. So I don't know. There's just it's a wider range of outcomes than I think that the field is probably going to give credit for here.
I'm with you, man. I just think it's so funny, dude. Dallas is minus 1,600. That is crazy. That is absolutely nuts.
And you know there's some sick fucks in Dallas still betting it.
Oh,
you know?
They are.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, it just can't miss.
Battle of Texas, baby. Battle of Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. They their defense is so good. Like Mark said, they might account for like tons of turnovers, tons of sacks. Texans might not get the ball past the 50 like more than like twice. You know, I would not be surprised if Dak throws the ball like less than 20 times. You know, it just seems like they just are not going to have to do much. Like, I think the defense is just going to dominate this game, and that's what makes CD like really risky. But everybody's, you know, he's hearing the noise like about the fake alpha noise, and he's just, you know, coming through with some awesome efficiency. So he's a risky fade, but I think there's a lot of ways that he doesn't get there.
Yeah, no, I like that shout for sure. I mean, maybe you can even, I don't know. Everything we're talking about here is shaping up for me to then again take a similar stance to what I did last week in these BRs, where it's like, it's Derrick Henry is this week's Austin Eckler, where it's just like, you know, I want to take that in the first round when it's there to me. It's Travis Kelce in the first round, and then it's one of the first 6 wide receivers, and that's it for me. You know, like, and then it's kind of mix and match from there and back your way into stacks and that sort of thing. I'm not ignoring you, Jones. Like we've talked on this a few times now. We led the show with the Mixon thing. I'm sorry if you weren't here yet. The Mixon is, cost adjusted, probably best draft pick right now, and you have a free Samaje swap because nobody's taking him. So you have a free swap to that. And yes, worst run defense in all of football. Why not get after it when we can there? I do really like, I can't remember who said it the other day. I was listening to somebody smart, and they said something to the fact that like, we love to think we know how these games are going to go. We love to think that, hey, like a Vegas team total and this and that, like, and we saw the Browns team total get home last week, right? Their team total was 27.5. They get home, they score 27 points, right? But that was in no fashion remotely close to how the fantasy industry projected those points to be scored, right? They were all these defensive whatever. So I think it's an incredibly sharp point that Mark brings up here, that like, we love to think we know how these games are going to play out, but like, range of outcomes with the Cowboys this week is, hey, best pass rush in all football, gets after terrible quarterback in Kyle Allen, panics his ass off, throws it away into Diggs' arms. Diggs scores one. Micah Parsons gets a safety, like whatever, right? Like we could paint the same narrative that what the Browns did last week is exactly what Dallas could do this week. Now that could also go the other way, and all of a sudden we get 4 combined touchdowns between Pollard and Zeke. But like, we just love to look at these totals, and we love to give these points to these fantasy players, not to the team, right? And it's just an interesting way to think beyond what we're just staring at. Like, just because we see this 30 total doesn't mean we're 100% getting a 3 touchdown game from Dak and two more on the ground or 1 more on the ground, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True speak.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. Miles Sanders.
Oh my God.
As
Dude, sorry. Sorry. No, these penalties.
Watching
Yeah,
football.
dude.
Yeah, no, I love Miles Sanders off the tough matchup against the Titans. Like, I love that we were on that. We were like, it's not like if they're going to crush the Titans, it's not going to be on the ground, because that's just not what the Titans do. And and look what happened. It was no Miles Sanders involvement and a ton of just A.J. Brown dominance and Devontae Smith dominance. So I think in a game where they're favored, what is that, by 7? I think Miles Sanders has a ton of upside here. The one thing that is a little concerning, and I do need to go to Football Guys to back this up to make sure I'm not talking out my other end here, but I think Kenneth Gainwell has kind of, well, I guess, yeah. I mean, the last 2 weeks, Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott have both like found their ways into complementary roles, and I don't know if that's just because they didn't need Miles Sanders to like to be the guy because they were in such comfortable positions, but Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott both seem to be chomping into the Sanders workload, but on a slate where running back is so gross, I think Sanders still, it makes a lot of sense coming off a tough matchup against the Titans where they don't cede anything on the ground really.
The counterpoint to that, and then I'll have to go after I say this, but the counterpoint to that is
penalties.
Yeah, they're in penalties. Dude. It's insane. That's the counterpoint. No, the counterpoint to that is the Wink Martindale defense from the New York Giants. They are a team that's allowing only a 37.04 red zone touchdown rate at home this season, which is like really, really freaking low. So I don't know, like that dynamic, like Philly offense probably has a lot to do to probably bolster those numbers a little bit. But
so just run back the Jalen double stacks.
I have no idea, man. I have no idea what to make of that game because, like, the Wink Martindale defense is very much like a Bill Belichickian, like, seed production between the 20s, and then we're going to, like, make life difficult as hell in the red zone. Dude, Spain has missed all 3 of their PKs, by the way.
Wow.
They're about to send Morocco into the round of 8. Holy shit.
Wow.
Okay,
Mark, as a footy guy, I'd be remiss to ask you, did you do like the old Like I see all these guys come in there and do like the stutter step and like do like the hezzy and like hinge the foot back, like they come up, they stutter step, they
On the
plant,
penalties?
and then they hinge the foot back, and it's like I know you can still kick the ball hard like that, but like, isn't it like just from a bro science standpoint, just
Morocco
like
goes
boot that
through.
shit?
Like, yes and no, because have you seen that video of like Messi with the automated keeper, like on it's like automated, or Messi like best player in the world versus like machine, and
Okay.
it's like this goalkeeper on a stick that goes flat and like will like it can read where you're based on how your hips are turned and all that stuff. Like goalkeepers in like at the highest level, they are that good at like reading hips and being able to discern where you're going with a kick. That's why you see like the opened hip is supposed to be like you're cheating towards the open side of the goal, which like if you're right-footed is to the right side of the goal. That's why you'll see guys open their hips and then kick down the middle, because the keeper is trained to look at your hips and dive the direction that your hips are going. Closed hips is across your body. But all of that, like, it's for me when I was playing, like, and I was kind of like the PK taker all the way through like college. For me, like I tried to do as much as I could to just make it like a standard shot. I don't buy into the whoop-de-doos and because you're just losing power as you do that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. But like you see these guys do it. Obviously, the game's being played on such a higher level that like I don't typically understand it. It'd be like the equivalent of being like, hey, look at these penalty shots. Like, why don't you just come down and take a slap shot every time? And it's like, well,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense, right? But yeah, I don't know. I just thought
Chip, one hit the post and the other two were saved. Stop throwing shade, bro. All right, I gotta go.
Peace. Thanks, Mark.
Peace, Mark. Oh, you love to see it.
Chip gives goalie vibes. I can't explain it, but that makes all the sense in the world that Chip was a goalie in high school.
Chip's a tandy.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Chip, actually hit me up in the chat here. I was meaning to ask about, you switched up your Discord picture there. I want to know if that's you hanging out with AI or what's going on in that picture, because I can't like enlarge it. It looked pretty cool though. One thing I just wanted to touch on with the Kenneth Gainwell thing is, in a close Week 12 contest, for whatever reason, whether it was just rotation, whether it was the fact that they were running tempo and he just stayed on the field, Gainwell did get some high value touches and some, 3 of these team red zone opportunities. So just something of note to back up your point there. But yeah, I think it's more or less what you guys were saying off the top, what Mark was saying there, that like, running back feels a lot thinner this week. And I think if we consult the old data chart, this is where I was kind of leading with that. Shout out, Chad, as always. On our data chart here, this is probably the highest I've seen the 1 running back, 3 wide receiver builds be in a long time this early in the week.
Yeah,
we're damn near a 50-50 split almost. Only 43 drafts so far. Seeing no double tight end, which is just commonplace. But all we have to do is look to last night, Cade Otton, and look to last night and see who's in the first right now with Cade Otton and Taysom Hill together. Granted, Taysom Hill's a complete anomaly. Whatever.
Anomaly.
Ali. Hey, hockey hooligan up there. Hopefully that holds for you, unless I catch you.
Player
Q. There you go. Neil Orfield, sharp, stochastic, showdown savant, and just getting weird with it. Getting Raheed in there, getting double tight end, doing it with the thesis always with Tom Brady. This is a really smart lineup. The thesis with the thesis with Taysom Hill is that he's never paired with Andy Dalton. The thesis is Taysom Hill becomes the quarterback. That's how he scores the points. That was not entirely true last night, but that's the thesis. And then you just get the Shaheed one-off there, and then you get a mini game stack on the other side. I don't think it holds, especially with Devontae Adams and Jacobs and some good team totals and stuff coming. But just interesting of note that, hey, a smart, sophisticated showdown player who's won hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars playing Showdown found his way to a similar build as we were discussing on stream yesterday. So pretty
I
cool.
didn't even know he was an Underdog, let alone a red badge player.
Yeah, he's been invited on the show. So if you're out there listening, Neil, I invited him on the show one time. He said he had to talk to Stochastic to see if they were allowed to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he's streaming so much that he hasn't got back to me.
Yeah, busy
since
guy,
then,
but
maybe
that's
I'll
cool.
I'll reach out again. Yeah. Yeah, hardest out in YouTube history. I love that so much. Mark is the hardest out. That 45-minute spot where he's just got to go do the other show. Boom, gone.
I'm out.
Yeah. Okay, let's sift through this data a little bit here. Just talk through some stuff. One that came up to me that looked like how gross the running back slate is. We've been talking about this. Isaiah Pacheco, only 16% so far in
That's surprising.
43 drafts. Yeah. We saw Jerick McKinnon get in the end zone last week. We saw him utilized heavily in the pass catching role, but just a fun name on a good offense that isn't getting much love down there. And everybody's soured on Travis Etienne. I know Titans run defense is a tough matchup, but I'm not ready to give up on Travis Etienne that fast. He was my highest exposed player, or second highest exposed running back last week, and he buried my ass. But I'm not giving up on that talent. I'm not giving up on that role. I know they're mixing in JaMychal Hasty a little bit more after they saw what he could do. Takes on those two boys? Numi, you haven't spoken in a while. What's the good? He's going for the water. Nez, give it to me.
Yeah, I think ETN is going to be a really tough click this week, but I really like the idea of also like fading everybody's thought and idea and just like preconceived notion that, the Titans are a really good run defense, but it's, things can still happen on a week-to-week basis, and ETN can still find his way in the end zone if they get to the 1 or 2 yard line. He can still be involved in on a slate where running back is gross. He can still get there. So it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because I don't want to click him, but I know like we have to think about this from a probabilities standpoint. He can still end up being a score that you need this week.
Yeah, I agree with that. Numi, what do you see?
Yeah, no, definitely the matchup isn't great, but if you're just looking at it from a leverage standpoint and recency bias, yeah, I agree. It's definitely worth mixing in some. It'll test me because, again, I'll just go back to this matchup and kind of just the game environment itself, and it kind of will be like, I don't know if that's something I want to do, but from a leverage standpoint, yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's scary to buy into a player who failed in a spot as cushy as the Lions one, but I am not so certain that that's completely on him. I mean, that game kind of got away from him. Trevor Lawrence got a little bit banged up there. He still played 88% of snaps. He's heavily utilized in the pass catching role. I know Titans run defense is a horrid matchup, but this is a talented player who, he got aped up into the 3rd round in season-long best ball, and he's back off the injury and just jumps into one of like the most lucrative roles we've seen in terms of pure volume at the running back position. I don't see why he's not going to be at least mixed in for me this week. Any other names you guys are thinking? This Debo one is very interesting. We know Debo's talented enough to break any slate regardless of quarterback, but a quarterback who gets the ball out of his hands quickly. I know the matchup's gross as well. This slate's littered with poor matchups, but what about a free 6th round Debo?
Yeah, I think it makes sense against Tampa Bay, with as them being kind of like a bit of a pass funnel in the past. I think Debo certainly should not be higher than 9%, even though with Purdy, it's kind of it's fun to be pumped about Purdy, but in reality, we really just don't know yet. But I think just Debo just has that breakaway potential. It's kind of you don't really want to bank on that, but I think I would add in some Debo in here. There was sorry, I'll get back to you. There was a player that I really wanted to to touch on, but just give me a moment.
There's a few running
Yeah.
backs that I think are interesting in Rashad White and both of the
good
Bills
shout.
running backs are just unless this is not updated, they're both 36 in ADP, both of them. So take your
Yep.
pick. That's just another
And great
interesting-
leverage off of two
Yeah.
players that are getting drafted at 100% frequency.
Garrett's pointing up for James Cook too.
Yeah,
Like,
Cook, Singletary, and White all have 36 ADPs. So it's like 36 flat.
Damn near even split kind of out of nowhere last week, where we saw Singletary take over that backfield in theory for the last 5 weeks. Before that, he was pushing an 80% snap share. He was high 70s for 5 straight weeks. And then all of a sudden, they play one snap different last week. And James Cook got a lot of, it was surprising to see him utilized, not the way in which they utilized him. It was surprising to see him utilized so early in the ball game. Usually it'd been like a change of pace for series or as a pass catching role, but just to see him come in there right out the gate and then start feeding him. He had 14 carries last week. Yeah,
and
that's
James
worth
Cook
buying.
led. Yeah, it was his largest snap share of the season. Led the team in rush attempts in Week 13 as well.
There you go.
So yeah, and regardless, it's not good for Devin Singletary. They mixed in Naeem Hines as well. So it just doesn't really look too bullish for Singletary. My Galaxy Brain take. I remember. So no, go ahead. While we're on this point, it's not about. It's not about.
He was second on the team in receptions, only behind Stephon Diggs. Yeah,
that's something.
Yeah.
He does. He looks solid.
I test from Nick there. That's a good one. Good shouts by Numi there. Absolutely.
So my Galaxy Brain take is, and I don't know that I want to do this right now in drafts, but Ken Walker's ankle injury, I don't know if you saw any like reports on it. It wasn't like a twisted ankle or like a rolled ankle. It was like they called it a jammed ankle.
Interesting.
Yeah, a foot sprain is what he was diagnosed with. Yeah.
An
unusual injury is what
unusual
Carroll said. Yeah.
So if we get like a little limited Ken Walker, like I think they just slap a pound of tape on that thing and he's good to go. And if he's good to go against the Panthers, like yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Like that pick 36 Ken Walker's.
Weren't they playing Tony Jones last week? Because everyone was out. Like it got down to Tony Jones.
They need him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Travis.
They have DJ Dallas, but he was in. Like he came in and they were like, DJ Dallas is coming back out, but he was ruled basically like out already, and he's only coming back out because they don't have anyone else. And then Tony Jones appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's interesting just about the Seattle backfield in general. The Seattle backfield in general is they do tend to have a dedicated pass catching back, regardless of who it is. And you saw it early in the season that like they tried to kind of, it was kind of like 1-for-1 replacements for each player, right? So the 1-for-1 replacement for Penny was Walker. The 1-for-1 replacement for Walker is now Tony Jones. And then the pass catching one was like Travis Homer. And then the 1-for-1 replacement is DJ Dallas and blah, blah, blah. Right. So it is
a high ankle sprain too. Somewhat of
There
a
you
high
go.
ankle sprain. So that doesn't sound like he's going to be back out on the field next week with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah. Is it Tony Jones season? Tony Jones
Oh
season?
gosh.
Oh,
no, it's
goodness.
not. I will officially say it's not. It's not Tony Jones. It never has been. It never will be.
I have a couple other little ones I wanted to talk through in the chat here. Joka brought up the point that we were talking to earlier. We talked on the Mark Andrews, and I do really like Nate's counterpoint that like, hey, Mark Andrews is better with a good quarterback, but we did note how much volume did funnel his way with Hundley. I think that's a sharp point to just be on our radar. I don't think we give Mark Andrews a boost, but I do think he's still within like play, right? Terrence bringing up the fact that he'd rather play Latavius Murray against KC than play Pacheco against Denver. Interesting stance there. Interesting take. I'd have to look a little bit more into that one, but now it's on my radar. I do like that shout just in general to talk through it. I don't know. You guys got thoughts on that one yet, or if we'll?
I mean, I like Murray in a better matchup. Like I don't think the Chiefs are a super soft matchup. for the Broncos, and the Broncos are just the worst team I think I've seen in this year. Like I would rather watch a Texans game than watch a Broncos game. They just I just can't. I just cannot do it.
I can't believe we had to sit through those primetime games early in the year.
For me, I think there's a lot of backs in this range that I would rather have. Not that Murray couldn't later on in the week be someone that definitely you mix in, but like I look at these ADPs, Zeke at 27, sure. Mixon at 28, we talked about it, sure. Like DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, Foreman, Walker, Williams, Sanders, Pacheco, and then the guys I just named, White. You even have Singletary, Cook. There's a lot of guys kind of in this past the Zeke range that is almost just like, those are like they're leverage plays, and they don't seem like they're even that galaxy brain. Does that make sense? Like they're just kind of, they seem like they should be once projections and maybe the week goes on and people get like they'll slowly start falling up. Seems like the RB gap is just. Maybe it's just odd for me to see that the highest RB at 8 and then an 11, 12, 14, 16. And then all of a sudden it's just, there's not many high end RBs. And then some of them up there, I'm kind of on the fade train at their ADP. So it's just interesting. The way that the slate is shaped up.
Yeah. I think like through our first 43 drafts here that have been shared, I think we've noticed that trend on a macro level, but then I think we've also noticed that just people are gravitating towards the safety of what they think the perceived floor of the wide receivers are this week than the volatility of the running back position, right? I think that's what people are doing in drafts currently. And to Numi's point, I think there is some good value late there to be mixing in at the running back position or some mid-tier guys to be fading for sure. What are you guys' thoughts on DJ Moore here? I'm seeing a lot of, Geno doubles. Everybody's kind of, last week, nobody's on Geno doubles till we talk up Geno doubles. I had Geno doubles at less than 2% ownership in the SPY and in the red zone. Like, it's crazy. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, we saw it last week, so now we're going back to the well this week, right? And now I think those Geno doubles come in like way more owned than they were last week, and like they offer way less leverage this week. But if I'm gonna run some Geno singles, I do love this Foreman run back or this DJ Moore run back. Do you guys like it?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think Seahawks are like Lions light, like early in the season, like early in the season, we thought that the Seahawks were going to just be this awesome environment for fantasy like every week, but their defense is really, really improved, but they're still not like unstoppable. And I think that they're going to be able to put up points against the Panthers. And I mean, it's DJ Moore and Deontay Foreman, and that's it.
Yeah, I can already imagine the sun shining at a nice 3:25 local time when this game kicks off, and the points are just waiting to be scored. Like, it just really seems like this is just going to be, load up your Geno doubles. Like, it's just going to be like, why didn't we just get 150 or 50 exposure to Geno doubles? Like, it was just so obvious. But
I like it.
But no, this game just seems like, obviously I know a lot of people are also on it, warming up to it, but I like it a lot.
Here, the GOAT himself chiming in that he likes Moore and Foreman one-offs, like just in general. So, there's definitely some merit.
Well, as well, he said. So I think, I think he was just saying as well. So I like that too. Like, I think because just to clarify, you do like the game stacks of that, but then you also just like them as one-offs, which I think is fair. Like, I think Moore is kind of in the play of like, to put it in there, like a DK Metcalf play in terms of where ADP is. Like Paul did, where you just add that guy on there that no one's really drafting, and all of a sudden just that leverage will shoot you up, because we saw last week there was not many DK Metcalfs at the top, and look who was at the top with them. So it's a fun 100%. Play to get you there.
Yeah. Christopher bringing up a sharp point in the chat here. Mark talked a little bit about it half an hour ago or so, that just like contextually the Ravens are a very different team than they were last year, where they were slinging it. And they had to be slinging it, and Marquise Brown was on the field to take away defensive focus, and that left Mark Andrews underneath wide open, blah, blah, blah. This isn't an apples to apples, 1-for-1 comparison with how Huntley and Andrews are going to play this year versus how Huntley and Andrews played last year. It's more or less, I would just say our take in general, and maybe I'm putting words in your guys' mouths, is like, at his price point right now, he makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not deterred from taking Andrews. It's not that I'm, hey, pounding the drum, let's go draft Andrews every draft. I'm just not deterred from taking him like I think the field is.
Exactly. And it's obviously just not 1-to-1 as it was last year because of the offensive situation where you had Rashad Bateman and Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Yes.
That's given me PTSD from last year's best ball playoffs because
Yeah.
I had a lot of Lamar, and then Andrews killed me. I didn't advance a single team out of the first round of playoffs last year. It was heartbreaking.
That is heartbreaking. Yeah, and this is another good ad. They did have almost the worst defense in the league last year, right?
Yeah, that was a good situation for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm still Kelsey 101 this week.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to that in any regard. Friends and family draft here.
Where's that?
We got Joka in here. We got Grill Belichick. Nice.
Who
Love
put
to see it.
that tweet out where it was Mark Andrews fantasy points, the next highest, and then like the group after? Like
It was
I think
I think it was Leone.
I think every time
Yeah, it was ETR.
and there's any pushback on Travis Kelsey at the 101, we just need to put that graphic up
Yeah,
and
just
be
there
like, guys, like just seriously, like let's just look at this. Like this is stats. This is what happens. I'm trying to go. Was it Leone that put it up?
It was
or ETR.
last week.
It was one of the two.
Or ETR.
Mhm.
Gotcha. I'm trying to find it. Geez, Leone, tweet enough? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was
Here
like
it
a
is.
week ago or
Here it
so.
is. I'll send it. I'll
Here, fire in that private chat and I'll pull
Yes.
it up right now because we brought it up on stream last week and it didn't come to fruition in the results last week. But I mean, come on.
and it's cost and it's dropped him one spot. Look at that recency.
Yeah,
guys.
and it's dropped him one. Let's see if we got that there. So this is highest scoring tight ends, points per game, PPR, and how dominant Kelsey has been relative to his position, and why we keep talking about the replacement value style drafting with Travis Kelsey and what makes him the 101 there. 21 points per game, a 7-point difference off of Mark Andrews, and then kind of everybody else. Pretty wild.
But yeah, that being said, still on Andrews. Not like the Kelsey 101 isn't to fade anyone else at tight end.
Do you guys want to just take this stack right here, or do we want to kind of get weird with something and take Derrick Henry?
Me and the
something
Giants. They're very gettable through the air.
Okay, fine. Now that
no,
you
don't. You can do whatever you want.
That's cool. That's cool with me. That's cool with me.
But we'll get weird with the next one there. I think it's hard to pass on that at the corner here. I think it's hard to pass on the Josh Allen Diggs when you get it on the corner. But I was going to do something very different there and see what it looked like, given the fact that 2 running back builds are down this week, and given the fact that we think running back is very top heavy this week in a couple there. I was going to just click Henry McCaffrey and see what it turned out as, because I haven't done anything like that yet. And maybe that's something we experiment with next draft.
Yeah, I think that's a really fun start. Derrick Henry is probably this seems like the quintessential 22-point Derrick Henry game.
Dehember, right? It's Dehember season.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Tractor Cito running through the snow. 250 on the ground and 3 scores every week from all of December. That's what I'm promised, right?
And the Jags, man, the Jags defense, there was I forget who it was. Somebody was a very popular Twitter account for football was talking about how the Trayvon Walker is the least talked about number 1 overall pick in many years.
Great point. Yeah. Everyone loves to talk about Aiden Hutchinson. Everybody loves to talk about the sauce from that draft class. Nobody talks about him.
Yeah, and it's and I think is it because he's just really underperforming? Kind of seems like it, right?
Yeah, maybe it's that. I have no have no evidence or anything to add to that. But it could also be just the way his role is, that he's performing exactly as he's supposed to, like like a stay-at-home defenseman, right?
That's
It's
true,
like,
yeah.
hey, he's not putting up any points, he's not like whatever, but he's out there, he's playing every snap, he's playing 25 minutes a night, he's keeping the puck out of our net, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
It was 4 verts, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
awesome follow if you're not following him on Twitter.
And part of the Underdog family now, right? I think he is.
He was, and then
He was?
and then he had to take a new other opportunity. What do you think? I know you don't like Chubb any given
Let's
week.
do this.
I think we should.
Let's do this. I like Chubb. I like Chubb when I can stomach his price point, and I do think
there you go.
It's as a 3rd or 4th round pick there. I don't mind Chubb at all. Like, my cardinal rule, never overweight, but he can always break the slate. So here's my Nick Chubb exposure for the week, right?
We need that in like some live, laugh, love font, just like on a wall.
Chicks will be putting it in their bathroom for years.
Always break the slate.
Always break the slate. Never overweight.
Honey, look at this. Wouldn't this be so cute in our living room? Like, yes.
And then the dudes are like, yeah, I'll get it in the neon bar sign for the man cave,
I can
shit,
sit
that's
down.
funny.
That's going to be our first line of merch.
I want to bring this one up right now. I think we're overuse of runbacks and doubles. I fully fucking agree. I've talked about this on the show ad nauseum. I don't know, over the last couple of weeks, that
Yeah.
I think our porting of DFS knowledge has gone too far in these BR streets, because we're accustomed to dealing with 9 roster slots, and the power of bringbacks and all this sort of stuff, and the double stacks. The double stacks are price point and not making decisions, and the runbacks are pushing the pace in certain game environments. We do not necessarily need those in 6-person rosters where only 36 people get drafted in each draft. I do think it is a huge oversight that, hey, we're jamming, but it does make for an effective, easy way to build with correlation. So there's chicken and egg scenario associated with that, right? Numi, what are your thoughts on pairing Mixon with Higgins this week?
Do we have Higgins?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we do.
Higgins and Chubb,
Okay.
baby.
What do you guys think here? I don't love pairing Mixon with him. I think we could scroll down here. I don't know who I really like at tight end. I think there is kind of like a drop
Let's
off.
go to my boy Pat Fryermuth over and over again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you like
that
the matchup
works.
this week?
I do.
I just love. I don't know why I can't stop clicking Pat Fryermuth. I like him so much.
He's one of
I think
the
he's a
By
vibe.
that volume.
He's one of
Okay,
the best
yeah.
tight ends in football.
And then I do think Gabe Davis one-off is very interesting as like
DJ Moore one off.
DJ Moore one-off. Okay, sure. I mean,
Kenneth
you
Walker,
like DJ?
Travis Etienne, any one of them. Fine with it. Pick your guy. It's your draft.
okay,
I just
we're going back to the well, baby.
It's
All right,
your
let's
life.
do it.
Live it, John.
Yeah. Someone put it in the chat earlier. I think it might have been Chip that like, hey, what happened to Travis Etienne, like this prolific pass catching running back, blah, blah, blah. I think there was a huge misconception about Etienne coming out of college as a pass catcher. I don't think he had like some highlight reel pass catching plays. I think it was overstated that like he was a quality pass catching back, because that wasn't his role at Clemson. Like he was a between the tackles with high end speed running back. And then it was like, then everybody sees these 2-minute clip packages of, oh, look at him breaking off these huge receptions. And then they're like, oh, it's going to translate to the NFL
The
like
T-Law
that. And he's-
ETN connection. They were like, oh, they're going to immediately remember. And it's going to be like every pass, he's going to like know exactly where to go. And they're just going to be like at hip at everything. It's going to be perfect. That was literally what I kept hearing. It's like this connection. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, this is Galaxy Brain. tight end, like Andrews draws attention in 2 tight end sets, and Isaiah Likely is his version.
Oh.
I like it. That's kind of
I
cool.
can never say
I
no
like
to
that.
Isaiah Likely.
Well, yeah, he didn't play last week. I don't know how severe
he
that
did.
injury is.
Yeah, he actually did. He didn't play the
He
week
did.
before.
Oh, it was the week before. Sorry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Never mind. Disregard
Knew he
everything
was
I
about to
just said.
snap.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He had that Q tag all week, but he was fucking back, idiot.
I'm trying to show you guys.
Go
my
skate some
parents'
puck,
dog.
huh, bud? Gosh.
Yeah.
And don't even know.
That's a
got a-
good-looking dog.
I got a Bernese Mountain Dog here, but she won't come. She won't come see me. Come here.
What's her name?
Yeah. Lily.
Lily. Nice. Good looking.
Yeah.
dog.
Mrs. Good Girl.
Mrs. Good Girl. Actually, one thing that I love to do with Nikki is I'll take Tucker to like some other part of the house, or I'll take him like wherever, and I'll be like, no, sorry, you're not coming in here. This is the Mr. Good Boys Club. It's the Mr. Good Boys Club only. Like, you know?
Hold on, let me just. Oh no, come back. Come here.
Oh.
Come here. Everybody wants to see you.
This is the content that the people are here. Oh, 2 dogs. There we go.
Yeah, and the other one is yours.
Gorgeous.
It's like yours, but it's a mini.
Oh, mini Bernedoodle. Beautiful.
Yeah, he's a knucklehead. Come here. Come here.
Let's hop one more draft here, and then maybe we'll do one hoops one just because I'm interested for Numi's thoughts on the short game slates. But let's look at this draft board for 1 second here.
Yeah.
Anything you guys are picking up on, putting down on? Lots of the same names. Zeke undrafted in this one, unless Grill took him at that 6th pick. Let us know in the chat, Grill, if you did take him there. Sorry, I didn't capture it.
Joker's team is really sick.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah, absolutely.
I love every pick.
Not afraid to pair Burrows with Chase and with Mixon. But look at the big thing I wanted to hit on this week right here is Mahomes, Kelsey, Allen Diggs,
every draft,
Brown, Hurts, right? Chase, Joe Burrow, Gino.
I will say you kind of did
Tyler
this last
Lockett.
week, and I pushed back and said if they're available, I agree with you. You're pointing out something that normally isn't available in every other week. I still, and I'll ask you, is that going to push you off of trying to not stack them readily? Because I'm still going to do it and then just get unique with not unique, but just get one pick that I think, the DK Metcalf, the later round pick.
Yeah.
Like I know it's results oriented, but like everyone kept saying that around the AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts. And I'm like, take it. If it's there, take it at the 2-3 turn. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Grill Belichick, a man of his word. Grill Belichick's a man of his word. It took Isaiah Likely with that Huntley Likely at the end. I respect that. Yeah, I agree with you, Numi. Like, I think we should be mixing in these stacks. I think we should be looking to get different from the stacks elsewhere. Yeah. I agree with all that line of thinking. I just think that the leverage in DFS with stacking is that you'll overstack or that those stacks will be low owned. And then the correlation matters like a great deal. I think if we start pigeonholing our builds, put one in the swear jar. If we start pigeonholing our builds so that every single time we have Jalen Hurts, he's stacked with AJ Brown, it's just something we have to be more mindful of.
And I should be clear. It's not take it every time it's there. It's take a good amount of it and then get different with it, but don't just see it. And for me, I don't see it and get scared off. And not that you are either. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I know you're going to take it. You're going to take your stacks and build them out. You're just going to be more readily alert. And like, if I keep getting this, I need to get a little different. And maybe I mix these picks up. And I totally agree with that. But it's like, I'll see these and I'll take them. I'll make sure I get them because it's like when you need them and all of a sudden it's like I passed up on it just to get unique. And then you had it sitting there the whole time and you could have just built it out a couple ways. That's the only thing is like when it's available to you and you just pass up when it's unique just because you don't want to have that and you want to find that. Like those are likely going to be lineups that are up there. You would think so.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with the line of thinking. It's just interesting to note that like all of a sudden we've seen this like start transition from like week 5 or 6 where we were dealing with so many one-off builds, and then all of a sudden people were like, oh yeah, here you add in a stack, and wow, look at how unique this stack is. Now the pendulum swung the other way,
Yeah,
where it's
you're
like
right.
the stacks are normal and they're commonplace. Now what do we do to deviate
100
from that? So who knows?
100%.
Oh, look at
100%.
this full-fledged friends and family, full Discord hang chat here. Joka, LED, Paul's in here. Saints is in here in the Discord as well. Came second last week. Shouts out there. Grill Belichick in here again. This is fun.
And I wanted to give props to Numi's first Numi after dark drafting after dusk last night. That was a success. I had my dad in here watching it with me. I was checking it out while I was like
On the big
multitasking a
screen?
little bit. Yeah. He's
Right
like, so
on.
who's that? He's like, is that John or is that Numi? I'm like, no,
No,
that's
the
Numi.
smart one, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
He's the one that actually wins.
Yeah, he's the one who doesn't talk as much and wins.
I got wiped yesterday. I
didn't see you. I was looking for you.
The number
I didn't see
two,
ya.
the number 2 one where I was just literally shooting the shit with John. Whoo! I got cooked. Oh my God. That was my worst night of NBA ever. And I think it was because I was just so trying to be the entertainer while not being able to get my combos. Oh my, just got cooked. All
right, let's do something different this time. And let's take do you want to take Chase or Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Yeah. Let's do something different here because this kind of what just plays right into the point that that Jalen Hurts AJ Brown's there every time. And
shout out
friend of the
Rydock.
show.
Did I miss that in the Brad
No, we
Bros?
didn't. We forgot.
Did no one?
What happened?
Well, Rydock took home the NBA second place. Nice little $2,000.
All right. What do you guys think about this one?
You wanted to do it.
You're already doing it, so do it. It's not really what.
Okay,
what
I
we
just want to
think
see.
Doesn't matter.
I want to see how it plays out. I got a plan in mind here, and I think it could turn out beautifully. I got a plan.
RT99 had himself a nice day with a first.
And because he had, I don't think he had a single draft without Tyus Jones.
That was a very interesting one to talk about there, because taking the stance on Dylan Brooks as his ADP shoots up, like, why can't it just be Tyus Jones and he's for free in the 5th and 6th round every time? So I do think that was really sharp to just get on that angle that was slightly different than the field. I don't know if it was a swap or not. I don't know if it's results oriented. Yeah, that was good.
Regardless.
And then, so big shout out Rydock. I saw him. He's got a red badge now, so he's a full-fledged badge bro. And he took down 2K last night. That was beautiful to see. And shout out Mamba, Red Mamba, just coming in there, putting all our hearts and minds at ease there by saying, "Oh yeah, no, look back at the drafts. The swaps are correct." Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So just knowing, guys, that we're in that Discord, we're all sharing our ideas, and someone's paying attention. How about that, right? Like, how about that just for peace of mind, to be like, hey, people are paying attention to us. People are noticing. People have our back on the underdog side. That's one of the powers of being part of the brigade. So that's beautiful. Shout out to Mamba for that. Okay, so interesting decision. Mark Andrews falls back to us. My decision here, admittedly, was Geno double, and then finding something. I could do Geno single. I don't think we get both of these players to come back to us.
I think get Metcalf and then do Andrews.
Yeah, let's do Andrews.
Then you get one of your Seattle. That's how I'll.
Yeah, that's kind of what my thought process was there, because we'll end up with a skinny.
Man, DK. I mean, I totally get it, but it's just, and I think it's because of how many teams are on a bye and everything going on. But like, just going from 30s to boom 16.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of stuff available here too. Like, he could go the Burrows Higgins route. He could go the Nick Chubb. He could go the tight end
hot
route.
Revenge game, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh,
a lot of
Mixon.
stuff.
It is, huh?
There.
Mixon went last round, last draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you should.
Now you can get your Geno double if Lockett does.
Yeah. So this team, this is kind of what I wanted to set up and see how it looks, because I do think that thrusting the wide receivers up this week makes some sense, but I also think there is a pretty stark drop off for volume at running back, or not, maybe not volume, but elite volume at running back this week as well. So it's just interesting to see what a build like this looks like. These are the fucking experiments I run. $5 for the good people watching the stream. Just John Boy lighting money on fire just to see what's up, right?
And I think too, how much of the split between 3 wideout and 2 running back builds is because of the fact that a 3 wideout won last week too. You know, people
how much of
love
it's
to just
results oriented.
see what won and like, all right, well, everybody knows three wideouts is how you win. They've got the higher ceilings. And
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do it for the people. I'm fucking putting a stamp down right here. I'm gonna go back through all the results data at this week or next and see, you know, that's something we haven't done on a macro level yet. We do it on a week-to-week basis and we look back at the winner and we talk about the winner and whatever. I'm gonna do a macro overview of results data. How about that? I don't think I will have if somebody has ADP metrics for me dating back for every week of this contest, that'd be amazing. I should have been saving them along the way. I'm such a fish. But shout out Mamba, if you can give me that, that'd be amazing. If anybody in the Discord and or the chat has the CSVs saved for week over week, I graciously accept. So
surely Mamba can help us out.
yeah, it might be against terms and condition of their company for him to do something like that. Yeah.
It's for content. It's a write-off.
Yeah.
Well, Gino double it is, huh?
Yeah, I think Gino double.
Or do whatever you want, yeah.
Yeah, Gino double it is. It's interesting to see Burrow fall this far. You could get weird and do like a Burrow Tyler Boyd.
That doesn't sound like a lineup you'd like. That screams the exact opposite of what John Boy wants to draft.
I really like this team.
The interesting thing with Gino double here is I don't know if it looks better if you take Gino first and then you take, I mean, I think knowing that Grill Belichick's a smart player and is at the turn there, I'm just thinking through it. If it was a random player at the turn there, I think you have to take Gino first.
I think he had a Cincinnati already. So that's why.
He had Mixon. Yeah.
And Chase.
Oh, and Jamar and Chase.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Then it would not have mattered. You are correct, Numi.
I think a casual player would have rather gone naked Burrow than naked Gino.
Sure.
Yeah. I think they see the ADP and they would have like, wow.
Yeah. I totally get you though. I was thinking of the outcomes of like who we should take there. My thought was like I was trying to see if he's boxed out a wideout. Then we could take him. But I was thinking maybe he would be. I think he would have taken Lockett with one of those picks if he was available. Just thinking. I don't know. Maybe he could tell us
in general. Yeah.
Instead of DJ, I think he would have Lockett.
Well, I was thinking through the possibility of if you take Gino first, like just in general, like maybe it doesn't work in this case specific instance, but if you take Gino first, we leave ourselves with the out of DJ Moore or Lockett, and then it can be a skinny. It doesn't have to be a double. Just a sidebar thought. I don't know.
Sidebar.
I don't know if there's merit to it.
So Paul takes Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, interesting. Just a one-off Tyler Boyd there.
Yeah, that's the ship tournament right there. That's the winner.
Yeah. I think Greg Dulcich is very interesting.
I'm going to make sure I get that lineup. Okay.
Me too.
Amon-Ra, Hurts, Cook, Devonta, Greg, Boyd. Cool. I'll get that one next.
Yeah, just dupe that lineup, guys.
Yeah, every lineup you do, Paul, I'm duping it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so obviously sharp room with a lot of sharp teams being built here, but we do see similar trends emerging. Every team is stacked again. You know what I mean? Like we got a double from Joka here from the Dallas game environment. We got that Mahomes Kelsey is not nearly as rare as we thought it was going to be. We get Hurts, but with the other one with Devontae this time. We get Diggs, Allen again, and then we get the Jamar plus Burrow again. So I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means if we should be considering certain quarterbacks to be naked and thrust in here. Yeah, I think Paul bringing up the Hayden Hurst is doubtful. Hayden Hurst didn't play last game very much.
I thought that said Hurts at first. I was
Oh,
my heart stopped.
Oh, Joka with the bop crystal ball. Said it earlier that this just, I mean, back to back for the Heat screams Jimmy Bucket sitting out. And what do we get? Jimmy Bucket out.
Mhm.
Love it.
Yeah.
What a call. I literally was not drafting him because of that. So nice call there, Joka.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's a good play in general there. Yeah, Lex was saving the results from last year, so maybe Lex is a guy I reach out to. He shared some articles from 1 week season. I know my man Nez has a heart out here. His mom's recovering from knee surgery. That's why he's in PA, being the grown ass man and great son that he is. There helping her along. Yeah, she good, bud?
Putting my college degree to good use. Oh yeah. Everything went real smooth. Yeah, she's killing it.
She'll be back on the field in 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months recovery, or what do we got?
She's
here?
got that Cam Akers timetable. What are you talking about?
Bro,
Yeah.
we're
That
talking-
is
we're
Cam
talking
Akers timetable. I
Week
suppose.
15. Week 15.
Week
She's back on the
15.
field.
Oh, she's got
Oh,
the Adrian
Nez's
Peterson
mom-
recovery table. Okay. She's
Nez's
looking to win
mom
MVP
back on the
out here.
field, week 15. You heard it here first. We're gonna be drafting her next week in the VR. She's gonna be
Yeah,
cutting
she's
on
gonna.
a
What
dime.
if Nez's mom is the player you need?
No
It's
one's-
the
no
week
one's
one of the
considering it.
playoffs.
Oh my god! All right, we've gone rogue. Get
Yeah,
out of here,
this
bud.
is the extreme.
That's it. Let's
Oh
run
my
one
God.
hoops draft though. I want to pick your brain. Numi, you got time for one hoops?
Yeah, I can do one. Yep. Okay.
One
All right,
hoop.
guys. Best of luck. Numi, are you going live tonight or are you taking tonight off?
If
Only 3
people-
game slate.
If people want me to go live, I can go live. I'll just say that. If I get enough people that want it, but I'm not
Plus
gonna be
one
sitting
from
here.
me.
I'm not gonna be sitting here for Chip and just talking with Chip. back and
Plus,
forth.
come
That's
on.
for sure.
Chip's worth it.
Oh, I love
All
Chip,
right.
but I need more than just one little viewer up there and just Chip trying to draft and talk at the same time with a delay.
Yeah.
That
I have
is
a lot
not
of
a meme.
Nez's mom correlation
Stop.
for week
Pause?
17.
Hold on. Can we all pause?
This has gone too far.
Pause.
This has gone
All right,
too
guys.
far.
All right, Nezzy.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for
See you,
racing. I see
buddy.
you, man. Nice bake. See you guys.
Peace out,
Yeah.
Nez.
There you go.
Yeah. See how long it takes for him to
Pit
disconnect.
sweater.
Oh, let's see who gets to the thing before me, and then I click it, and as John clicks it, yeah, I'll get it first. Producer, my ass.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Exactly, producer,
right.
my ass.
More friends and family in here. These 3 game slates are usually very top heavy, but
I
as
love
far
them.
as three, as
They're
far
my
as 3
most
games,
profitable.
oh, there you go.
The small
As
slates,
far
man.
as 3 game slates go, I do think that this one has quite a good depth of first round talent. I know people get scared off of playing 3 game slates because like basically it's just Luka and someone who can break the slate on any
There's-
given night.
There's like
There's a
4, borderline 5, depending what kind of performance you get from D-Mitch.
exactly.
And with no buckets, Bam can also. I mean, it's not up there. Don't get me wrong; it's nowhere close to those guys, but they have
yeah.
the ability to do it if the other guys don't put up their 90th percentile outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Like the combination of Bam Garland or Bam Donovan can get you something that is similar to the combination of Anthony Davis and Christian Wood, like something like that. Like, you know, like that's the comp, the 2v2. So normally people are scared off because of how top heavy
you
these are.
got to do LeBron back in the land, right? Like you got it.
Yeah, LeBron ultimate revenge game. Let's do it.
He's been there plenty of times, but it just when
Mm-hmm.
LeBron in Cleveland just screams like he's like, AD, I know what you can do, but I'm gonna put up mine. I'm gonna get mine tonight. Like you want to talk about petty
There you go.
individuals? I think. Oh, I
Big
appreciate
John,
that, Big John.
Big John's about it. Big John's about these
Yeah,
late night hoops.
We'll put a little feeler out there. You know, we could potentially do one. You know, I maybe I gotta
See how the
get
news
my
goes.
volume in. Yeah, I might gotta get my volume in beforehand if I do that, so I can just kind of casually draft a few. And,
I'm gonna
and
go
shoot the
ahead
shit.
and hit refresh because the Butler thing still has not updated, which is interesting.
It is updated for me.
Okay, cool.
So
All right, so I'm not gonna click him. Okay, who do
So-
we like here?
Okay, Mobley's interesting because Jarrett Allen practice and shoot around, and that's gonna obviously
Mm.
just. But I mean, I still like Evan Mobley, but
Even if Jarrett Allen plays, you still like Mobley?
at that price, no. Let's do
Okay.
Jamal, and then hopefully we can maybe get Jarrett Allen on the way back. That's how I'll play it.
Yeah.
But like, I'll still. I have
let's
plenty
tell
of
everybody
Mobley
our
Allen.
strategy.
Yeah, I do have plenty of Mobley Allen. I will say. In my 5, 1, 2, 3, 6 drafts, I have 3 Mobley Allen. So.
Okay, I think that's a good note for everybody though that Jarrett Allen, I did see it earlier today on the Underdog Twitter. He's got the Q tag. He is getting drafted, so he's not a completely off the board guy, but participated in shoot around this morning and trending in the right
Q
direction.
tag that should be higher. If he wasn't a Q tag, he would not be where he was in there. Like, he would not going below Boyan, Tim, Bay, Ivy,
Bruce
Hayes,
Brown.
Gordon. Like,
Yeah.
he would be up there with. He would kind of be almost up there with Lowry, Westbrook. Like, he would be right there, and Mobley would be down a little bit, in my opinion. Just my hoops guy's opinion. But again, small game slate, so you're going to get players on the same team. I mean, when you're looking at this, like, I have a lot of teams with like a lot of Detroit beef stew. Goodness.
Hey, Oaks, if you happen to be in the chat and or watching later, your guys' search function is broken. I'm gonna need you guys to fix this one. That every time I type in beef stew, that my boy Isaiah Stewart pops up. Right? That's the guy's name, right?
Yeah,
that's my guy.
That's the guy's name, right? Oh my god, I love it.
Me. You got to buy into the bit, dude.
I love it.
You got to buy into the
bit. If we can get him to fall here. Well, okay, so Joker's gonna take Allen. Oh, he's gonna take Allen. Fine. I think Dinwiddie's a good pick.
Okay. Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie. I'll just say from like a basketball standpoint, I think Killian Hayes fucking slaps. Like, I think he's a good basketball player, and he's going to be like maybe not a superstar, but he's going to be like a super good player in this league, right? No.
You said who?
Hayes. Killian Hayes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no.
Really?
He is not good at the sport of basketball.
He's 19, Numi.
He has had
some time.
In 3 seasons, he's had a -6.1, a -3.5, and a -3 expected plus minus. His highest true shooting has been 46% in the 6th percentile.
Okay, never mind. He's 21 now. He's already failed.
He's ass.
No, he's not. Come on.
He's not good.
You guys are just he's still a young man. He's still developing.
Yeah, well, you're not going to be able to develop that much when you got like a Cade Cunningham and I mean, yeah, you can develop there, but you got Cade and Jaden Ivey who are going to be the guys there. So,
okay, well, okay. He goes anyways. I think I'd be a complete and utter fraud right now if I didn't take beef stew. Who do you like more here? A lot of Detroit guys going in this range, and this feels very similar.
Bruce Brown is interesting,
even with Jamal.
I think so. Small game slate. You're gonna. I think they can easily still do it, and like that. Thinking through those little combos like that, like obviously it's hard to find leverage, but that's an interesting.
Guys, I thought he was gonna be good. I thought he was gonna be good.
Thank you, Chad. Everyone,
he's
just
still developing. He's still developing.
Well, guess what? He's had the time. He's had the time to develop, and
it's not working.
Yeah. Tonight though, he's a good pick. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he's a good pick tonight. But like,
all right, I accept.
Like, yeah, I'm just
not
looking
through
his dunks and threes and everything, and he's just not. Like don't get me wrong, he's in the 90th percentile for assists, so he's got a 29% assist percentage. So and he can steal. So look at that. That's what he's got. Everything else is blue, which is signifying he's in the literal bottom 10 percentile for everything else. And then he's assists and steals. He's 92 and 85th percentile. So it's like
okay. Yeah, take your stats elsewhere.
yeah, you're like okay, we get it. We get it.
He's bad. Question about Levert. Does Levert's usage and stuff like that drop off a cliff as soon as we get Jared Allen in?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Same thing with Kevin Love, or no?
Love, I think. Yeah, if Allen's in, that definitely. But Dean Wade and Windler are both or Dean Wade's out, so I think that's going to establish Love to get his 20 minutes, whatever.
I wanted Strus there.
I like Strus, especially that he was a Q tag and now he's probable, so that's a good pick. Where is it?
Yeah, he's gonna keep getting thrust up there. Schroeder with LeBron.
Caleb Martin with no Jimmy seems fun.
Okay, sure. I like that idea.
Like he's gonna get the minutes, and like look at his stat line, very bad. But you take Jimmy out, and that's more usage and more peripherals he can get. Kyle Lowry is also now very fun. Where did he go? If you click
Caleb Martin feels like a poor man's Jalen Green to me, where it's just like he's either gonna score or he's gonna do nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jalen Green, man. I mean, that guy, I told you, the dude literally needs to put up like 25 points and then get some other stats. To hit his ceiling. He's not hitting his ceiling.
He needs 40. He needs 40 points to be relevant on like an 8-game slate. It's crazy. Like he literally needs to score 40.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Could you just click Haywood Highsmith? That's a great pick, Joka. I was taking him. I have 2 Haywood Highsmith. Literally, when you said Jimmy Bucket, and I looked into that, I'm like, you're right. It's a back-to-back, and he's just playing. I saw someone took Jovic with like the 5th pick. They said.
Okay, who do you like? What about Kemba? Kemba's first game.
No.
Okay.
Scroll up.
Alec Burks probably off the bench.
Burks? I don't know. Burks?
Dorian? We got
do Dorian.
Dorian feels like pretty safe guy who's gonna start, and if he plays well, they don't bring Hardaway Jr. in right away, kind of deal.
Yeah, he's just Dorian's just like a.
This is what I'm talking about. Robert gets it. He has a dog in him, man. Like you can't quantify that with your spreadsheet, Numi. This guy is a hooper.
I can quantify it with real life stats. I can do that. I can look at his stats and say he's not good. He's
Kemba's been
negative
available to play. He just hasn't been used. Damn it! I thought this was Kemba's first game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I think Kid said the same thing. He's available to play. Oh, your boy Mo Bamba back at practice Tuesday. Woo, not he's playing tonight, but
Chad St. Bam's his 104 now with Jimmy Bucket's news.
Well, over LeBron, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think I would still take LeBron at 4. I could definitely see him.
I think Bam is the 5. I think it's definitely I think it's definitely it gets my gears running. I think it's definitely worth. But I just think, I mean, I'm a guy that's just I'll get my exposure to LeBron because it's still LeBron. I totally get the guy. I totally get the Lakers. You know what I mean? I don't care. I just, you know what I mean? Like it's LeBron James. But yeah, that's
anyone getting drafted that it's interesting that we see this Tim Hardaway right here, and then we get DFS down here. It's interesting that this is kind of flip-flopped over the last, like the rotation is flip-flopped over the last, like, call it 2 weeks, week and a half, something like that.
Yeah. And like, so, I mean, I'm just looking at this, this is just one projection. I mean, they have Tim Hardaway at a 31 ceiling, 26, but then, you know, Finney Smith gets his minutes. Like Finney Smith is a guy he's a very low usage guy. He's not going to get his at all. I mean, as anyone on the Mavericks, I mean, that's just obvious. Luka Doncic owns that team.
Right.
So, I mean, but yeah, Finney Smith is going to be like your peripheral guy, and he fits this fits this format pretty nice. I will.
Yeah,
say.
we might be threading a thin needle here by having Dinwiddie on the same team as him.
Dorian Finney-Smith has a 12% usage.
Yeah, I think there is merit to looking at individual team usage when making these decisions on these short game slates, opposed to just having overarching rules. Because like certain teams play certain ways where, you don't want to have, hey, 3 correlated players from the same team. Well, it's fine on some teams. That's entirely fine. But on the Mavs, I don't think that's true. I think I would cap my Mavs exposure at 2 if I have Luka, and maybe try and cap it at 1 without Luka.
Yeah, and that Josh Green play is interesting. If he gets minutes, I think he's someone that's really interesting in this lineup. If he gets more than what he's projected, just because he's actually doing what Finney-Smith, it's like Finney-Smith. If you look at him, he's their defensive stud. Funny enough, Josh Green's actually higher than him at in steals, and then his true shooting and efficiency, Josh Green has just been money. So like just in the fact
starting.
Who were we talking about there?
Tim Hardaway.
Yeah. Tim's a guy that he's very. I mean, he also need him to put his into. Tim's not going to get you really peripheral stats too much. He's going to put the ball in the bucket. Obviously, he will do other stuff if it's there, but he's not your defensive guy. But I mean, he can score and he can light it up, and if he gets hot, he's going to shoot it. But it's the same thing with the Mavs. Like, I think the Mavs are interesting. Like you said, having 2 Maverick role players, you're then betting on Luka kind of having a floor-ish median game, really. Luka isn't getting there maybe in the points category. Like Luka can get there in any other cat. Like he's like Giannis, where he's having a little bit of a down first half. Just wait for the second half. Like just wait. Like he'll put up 40 points and it'll be just fine. So it's interesting with the 3-game slates and like having a star with that much usage as Luka.
Any Numi, any kind of like one-off late round names you want to throw out there, and then we can just get out of here. You noted Caleb Martin. Now that Buckets is out, I think we'll see him rise a little bit. Anybody else down here that jumps out to you?
Yeah, Josh Green. Sorry, like I was saying, if he gets that 27-31 minutes, if he gets those minutes again for the Mavs, that's a really interesting pick that I
Scottie Pippen, baby, there he is. That's the guy.
Yeah, I think Lonnie Walker is a fun pick too. Obviously he's ADP 23. But Beverly, if Beverly just gets his same minutes and maybe does a little better, then maybe he can get up into the 20 points range. But Beverly seems pretty thin. Chetty Osman's an interesting play, but Jared Allen's back. So like or if Jared Allen is out, then there's some of these Cavs guys become a little more interesting. Like Lamar Stevens is someone that's probably popping. If Allen plays, he's not. So other than that, we'll probably talk. It's his son.
Scotty with a Y. Scotty with a Y.
Yeah, it's his son, right? Am I dumb? No, that's his son. Now I'm not going to be the hoops guy.
Oh, it's embarrassing, dude. Yeah, just play beef stew.
No,
and
that's his dad. Yeah, Scottie Pippen's his dad.
Yeah, no, it's 100% his son.
GJ's got a lot of siblings. Whew.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. All right, sorry, that doesn't matter.
Anyways,
off the rails like it always does.
Yeah, off the rails. Anyways, just go out there, draft yourself some 5th round beef stew, and print. That's how tonight's slate's gonna go down. Appreciate this, Paul. If the king of these BR contests is out here and he's liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell, I suggest that you do as well. Appreciate that shout there. Yes, Robert, thank you. Hit that like and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Join the Discord. We got some merch available in the Deposit Kingdom Pete store there. Help support the show. We'll be back tomorrow. We will talk kind of like Wednesday's always a weird day. It's primarily a hoops focused day, but we always do a little football because old John Boy's here. So we'll probably do a little more main slate chatter. Maybe the Thursday plus Sunday contest has dropped and we dip our toes in that a little bit. And then Wob. I've never had to say Wobnesday, like it Wobnesday.
Mob Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, like that's not how you like the way it's written. It's like
It's like
like
Wobness.
I just
Yeah, you
yeah
just, instead of saying Wednesday, say Wobnesday.
Wobnesday, yeah. Wobnesday hoops tomorrow. Appreciate y'all being here, hanging out. If you're not playing
Yeah.
on Underdog, I have no idea what you're doing with your time. So go
Yeah.
sign up. Link below. Promo code badge. That'll get you a free match deposit of $100.
Hit us up with your favorite value play for the BR in the comments below in this video. That'll be
There
a
you
fun
go.
thing. Let's see who everyone's favorite play
Beautiful.
is so far early in the week. We can compare that later or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
And good luck to
All right,
everybody
everyone.
playing hoops tonight. Let's get ourselves a absolute sweat going. Everybody's favorite time of the show. On behalf of Numi, Nez, myself, and Mark, Ian. Peace.